on this week's episode of the Regular Guys podcast. It's Overreaction Day, so we're going to be going through some overreactions we have for you as week one of the NFL has finished, and also some times where you shouldn't overreact. So let's get into the episode.
You are now listening to Regular Guys Podcast.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to Regular Guys Podcast. My name's Jake. As you guys know, I'm the Latin flavor, your Papi Chulo for the week, for the episode. But first of all, we just want to say thank you for the 50 subscribers on YouTube. That's a goal we've been trying to get, and we finally reached it. It's crazy. We came up with some reels this weekend, and within 24 hours, one of our reels hit over 1,000 views. So it was pretty insane and kind of exciting. So kind of the boost of energy we needed too. And like we've been saying, that's something we've been wanting to do. Want to get those reels, want to get on YouTube, on TikTok, get all those views going. So now the road was 50. Now let's bump it up to 100. Let's see how quickly we can get to 100 subscribers. But yeah, super excited. Week one is basically over when you guys see this. Tonight is Monday Night Football. So we're going to go ahead and get ready to see that game. I don't know if we'll get some highlights in there, but we'll see. But I'm going to take it off to Sean. Introduce yourself, Sean.
What's up, guys? It's good to be back. We're missing Matty Ice, but he'll be back next week better than ever. And yeah, we hit the 50 subscribers. Next thing you'll know, we're going to be called the Big Time Guys podcast. But we really appreciate the love and the support. Thank you guys so much. But that being said, we're gonna jump into the injuries this week. We had a lot of injuries, big injuries this week. So the Pittsburgh Steelers, TJ Watt, torn pec muscle. Now they did look at him today, and he's gonna get a second and third opinion, and it's possible that he might not have to have surgery. And he would miss about 6 weeks. But if he has to have surgery, he's out for the year. And that's going to be, that's their defense right there. I mean, he played so great this past week.
Saw that pick he got?
Oh, my gosh.
That was insane.
And even the play he got hurt on, he full rushed the quarterback. He's a freak, man. He's awesome. Also, Najee Harris in that game actually got hurt as well, rolled his ankle up. And they were expecting 2 to 3 weeks, but they just said that he might be ready to go next week. So that's good for some fantasy owners for sure. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Chris Godwin had the ACL injury last year. He came back a little early this year. I was a little shocked to see him out there playing, but it's not ACL related. It's a hamstring tightening. It's going to be a week-to-week thing for him. So hopefully he gets back on that field, especially after that big ACL injury. And they also lost another offensive lineman, Donovan Smith, with a hyperextended arm. And they say that's going to be a pain tolerance injury. So he might miss a week or two, but he might actually play next week as well. So we also have the Chargers, Keenan Allen, hamstring injury as well. He hurt that. They got football, I think, Thursday night.
Yep.
So, we'll see what happens. Hopefully he can play. That'll be big. Mac Jones as well. Back spasms.
Oof, he got them old man pains.
Bad back spasms. I would blame it on something, how I threw the ball, like how he was throwing the ball. I'd blame it on anything too. I would call it back spasms, but they say he actually might miss next week, so we'll keep an eye on that as well. The Eagles pass rusher Derek Barnett tore an ACL, out for the year as well. I think that was a pretty big injury. And I can't really think of any other big injuries. I don't know, Jake. Can you?
No, nothing crazy.
Maybe.
Yeah, for the most part, all the big names, those were pretty much it. And that's kind of what the NFL is kind of wanting to go and happen with having the three-game preseason. The second year that they've had it. So that's pretty much the agenda. Lower the injuries. Granted, you would like to have no injuries, but it's better than 2 years ago where almost every big name star went down within the first couple games.
Yeah.
So, you look at guys like Christian McCaffrey, he's been hurt a lot, and he didn't have the greatest game stat-wise, but he didn't get hurt. He played the full game. You have a lot of guys that have had ACL problems in the past, and they seem to be pretty durable yesterday. So it seems that it's working. The 3-game preseason. I know the NFL wants to go to 18 games. So if they go to 18 games, they're probably going to lower to 2 preseasons.
Yeah.
So just expect an even slower beginning if that ever happens, especially if they go to 18 games.
Yeah. Players are not going to be happy if that happens.
Oh, they're not. I mean, you're going to see a lot. They're going to want a lot more money. Like, guaranteed. I want more guaranteed money if you're going to have me play another game.
I did. Honestly, I don't mean to cut you off. I left the player out on purpose. I was waiting for you to catch it.
I know you're feeling some type of way. So
no. It's okay. It's okay. I left it out on purpose. I thought you were gonna catch me on it, but
I was trying to be a nice guy. Trying to be the nice guy.
You're always nice. You're always nice. But yeah, Dak Prescott, man. You know, I don't know what else to say. Yeah, Dak Prescott out 6 to 8 weeks, surgery on the thumb, and you know, I'll get more into it in the overreaction or not on our segment. But you know, if you want to start that up,
I mean, we can go ahead and start off with the overreaction. If you want to start with the Cowgirls, we can. It's up to you.
I'll take it.
So the Dallas Cowboys lost on Sunday night, to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and it was not a pretty one. If you saw the game, it was actually a struggle on both sides. It wasn't just Dallas that was struggling. Tom Brady was having some struggles against that pass rush. I mean, Micah Parsons had his way with that offensive line. It was ridiculous.
Yeah.
And if you know any way to beat Tom Brady is a good pass rush. Ask the Giants, ask the Eagles. Those are the 2 teams that have beaten him, and it's because of that defense. If you can get a good pass rush on him, you don't even have to have a good secondary. Trayvon Diggs got burned plenty of times last night, but that wasn't the reason. It's that man, Micah Parsons. He's a beast. I don't think it's crazy to say 20 sacks is in a possibility this year. And that's a crazy jump from your rookie season to then go to year 2 and boom, 20 sacks.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
He had his way. I think Tom Brady actually really respected him too, because they had one exchange where he was like, you know, slapped him on the butt and, you know, gave him his props. So, you know, greatness, you know, likes greatness, you know, but so the Dallas Cowboys, I'd like to get started with them as well.
Yeah, hey, you know what? Since you're the Cowboy fan, I'll let you go first, and I'll give you my perspective as a Giants fan in that division also.
Okay, so before we started the podcast, Jake asked me why I was wearing all black. The reason I'm wearing all black, I told him I went to a funeral. I'm saying it now. I'm waving the flag.
Oh.
Last week, I want to apologize to everybody on my biased Dallas Cowboy pick, or 2 weeks ago, about them winning the NFC East. I'm at their funeral tonight. They're done. They are done. I am so sick of them. It's week 1, but they are done. Like Jake said, I mean, yeah, the injury does stink with the Dak, but what did they look like with Dak? They looked horrible. You know, Maddie and Jake told me the offensive line wouldn't be good enough. I went with my gut reaction, my heart, and I fought them as best as I could. But sometimes when you lose, you just got to give the other guys their props. The Dallas Cowboys will be lucky to win 4 or 5 games this year. The Dallas Cowboys, 4 or 5 games this year. And I know they're looking at getting another quarterback, and the rumor is actually Cam Newton. But what's a quarterback with no line and no weapons? Don't trade your picks to go get Jimmy Garoppolo when you don't have an offensive line or any receivers.
Yeah.
They should have just ran the ball 50 times. They did a halfway decent job with the run. You know, I think Zeke averaged 5.3 yards a carry. Yeah. They kept doing trickery plays. That already tells you the other team's way better than you. When you're in the second drive of the game doing fake reverses and all this stuff, you know, they just need to lose out, get a solid top 5 pick. And I'm not going to – here's a hot take for you, Jake.
Oh, let's go.
Here's a hot take. I'm drafting a quarterback. I'm done with Dak. 100% done with him.
So what about all that money you paid him?
Huh?
All that money you paid him.
I'm drafted a quarterback. I think he only has 3 more years on the deal.
Could be.
Yeah. I'm drafted a quarterback. I know they probably won't maybe go offensive line, but I'm just tired of Dak. I get it. He's maybe the 11th, 12th best quarterback in the league, but I think anybody out of the top 10, you have to have an amazing team to win a Super Bowl. And obviously the Dallas Cowboys don't have that. So yeah, I'm done with the Cowboys. I'm wearing all black for the funeral. I'm over them. I apologize to everybody for my fandom. But yeah, Dallas Cowboys done. I'm done with them.
And it's just crazy because if you look at Dak's stats, that quarterback rating 47, that's. I mean, at the same time, you have to. He was getting the ball. He was targeting his guys. Now, were they making the catches? That's another issue.
Yeah, CD dropped one, but I mean, I don't think he had a lot of time either. But I mean,
oh yeah, those passes weren't on target. It's when you're getting bull rushed like that. It's
but there's a couple he should have just nailed. I mean, there was a couple and he just overthrew him in 3rd down and 5. Just overthrew him, threw it in the dirt. It's just I don't know, man.
I knew before the game started for the injury report for Week 1, they had Dak Prescott for an ankle injury.
Yeah.
So I know he was dealing with that. Now, did that have anything to do with him, being able to set in the pocket and get that throw off? I don't know. But then he comes out with a thumb injury. So not only did he go into Week 1 with an ankle issue, now he has to get surgery on his thumb.
Yeah.
So I don't know, man. All I have to say is
you're right.
After Week 1,
yeah, you're right.
The only team in the NFC East without a win is the Dallas Cowboys.
Dallas Cowboys. And hey, like you said, the Dallas Cowgirls.
Dallas Cowgirls.
Can't
I'll
argue
say
it.
The Commanders, they played a really good game. Wentz looked good. He looked sharp. Granted, it's the Jags. Yeah. It's not a team. They're still rebuilding. You're trying to see if Trevor Lawrence takes that next step. He looked good. It's not that he didn't look great. But
I hated that last pass, though. Oh, yeah. So stupid. That's a young man's mistake right there.
As a Washington fan, this is what you're expecting. Carson Wentz is supposed to beat these bad teams. He's not a great quarterback.
Yeah.
He's not superstardom. But games like this, you get a quarterback like that to win you those games.
Yeah.
And then in the games that are tougher, at least keep you in the game.
Yeah.
That's all you're expecting from Carson Wentz. He's not going to win you 15 games. He's not going to win you the Super Bowl. No. He hasn't even won one himself. He has one because of the backup Nick Foles. So it doesn't have one for himself. There's a couple games you could go through, but we're going about overreaction. So we overreacted about the Cowboys in that game. Now, another overreaction will be the Green Bay Packers.
Okay.
Because I've been super bold on the Vikings. I have said that the Vikings were going to be great. The Vikings were even going to win the division.
Yeah.
As of yesterday, the Vikings look like the better team, and they were the better team, obviously. Yes. And the one thing that I said the Packers had going for them was that defense. I gave them the most credit you could possibly give anybody. I gave it to them. I said they probably had the best defense in the NFL. Justin Jefferson carved that secondary up just by himself. It was beautiful to watch. That's all it was.
Yes.
And if you want to go on another hot take, if you want to have some type of overreaction, I think Justin Jefferson will not only have better numbers than Cooper Kupp did last year, I think he might be the first MVP that was not a quarterback in I don't know how long. That's how far that I will go with that. And the only reason why I say he'll have better numbers than Cooper Kupp, he's a way better route runner than Cooper Kupp. He will he can run routes and they're so crisp that he gets himself naturally open just off of his route running. With the play caller they had before, he was having crazy games.
Yeah.
Now you have an offensive-minded head coach. Of course he's going to have way better games. He might be averaging close to 160, 180 yards a game. That's crazy.
You really got to start looking at him and putting him in the top 3 or 4 receivers in football. I mean, right there with Cooper Kupp, because Cooper Kupp, the one thing you can say about him, he's Mr. Reliable. He's awesome. He's Mr. Reliable. And Devontae Adams, I mean, he had a huge game with the Raiders, but I mean, he's right in that mix with them guys. I mean, I know he's Matt's offensive player of the year, and that's a great choice. Man, that guy he killed the Green Bay Packers defense. But the sad thing is, to me, a lot of those catches, I couldn't even see a Green Bay Packer defender on the TV. And they're supposed to have this spectacular defense. So I get that he's burning everybody, but why are they not double teaming this guy? Why are they not on the screen? I thought the Green Bay Packers offense would struggle that game, but I thought the defense would have been better. But if the defense plays like this year, I mean, I can't argue with the Minnesota pick. But on that note, I'm staying strong on this one. I left my Dallas Cowboys already. I do think the Packers, you got to remember too, last year, the Green Bay Packers lost the first game of the year against the Saints 38-3. Like we just got to hold up, I think. Vikings looked awesome. They did. Yeah. I think the young receivers on Green Bay will get better, but I think they're going to I think the Green Bay Packers need to run the ball more. Their run game looked actually really good with Dylan and
Aaron Jones.
Aaron Jones. They ran the ball, but they didn't get a lot of carries. They looked great though.
Yeah, they only had 15 carries combined.
Yeah,
they need to have 15 apiece. Yeah, that's what they need to have.
They really need to focus on a run game with a big throw here or there.
Yeah,
with the solid defense. I'm still holding on for the Green Bay Packers. I'm not going to overreact how they look because they did that last year as well and still won the division by a couple games. So, but the Vikings, they looked great, man. They looked like one of the better offenses this past weekend.
Yeah, just one last thing on the Packers. The only reason why I was always scared was never because Aaron Rodgers couldn't do it. I know I don't love Aaron Rodgers, but I respect the quarterback. Like, I don't love Brady, but I'm not dumb. I know he's the GOAT. I know he has the rings. I know he's going to probably go down as the best quarterback in NFL history. I'm not oblivious to that. I don't have to be a fan, but I can understand and respect it.
Yes.
Same thing with Rodgers. I know he's great. It's not anything a knock against him. Look at the receivers.
Yes.
His number one receiver was A.J. Dillon. A.J. Dillon was the offense yesterday.
Yeah.
A.J. Dillon led them in receptions, in yards, and in targets.
Yeah.
He also led them in the rushing game.
Yeah.
If that's gonna be your recipe for success, if that's your game plan for this year,
you're in trouble.
You're in trouble.
You're in trouble. I think what really messed them up too psychologically is the first offensive play of the game for the Green Bay Packers. Rodgers threw a dime to the young
Christian
kid Watson,
right
and
through the
he dropped it. And ever since then, like, the momentum was down. Like, and then you could tell when Rodgers gets upset, he gets upset. There ain't nothing.
Oh yeah, he was mad.
Yeah, he was mad. And once he plays, he's not like Brady. When he gets mad, it's not pretty to watch sometimes.
Nope. All right, so another overreaction. What do you got, Sean?
I got overreaction, and I Kansas City Chiefs.
Oh, what are we going about with the Chiefs?
It's going to be them and the Bills in the AFC to go to the Super Bowl. I know you guys don't have them in the playoffs, but I think Patrick Mahomes is on a mission. And he showed that this past weekend. He passed it to everyone. I mean, I get it. Hill's not with them anymore, and Hill actually looked great this week as well. But Juju looked like a great player. The reliable Travis Kelce looked good. I can't write them off just because that division is so strong and people are sleeping on their defense, which their defense hasn't been good the last couple of years.
Yeah.
But I'm telling you right now, Bills versus Kansas City, the winner's going to go to the Super Bowl, man. I'm telling you, man. Chargers didn't look too sharp, and either did the Raiders. So
yeah,
we'll see how the Broncos look tonight. I mean, they got the Seahawks, but we'll see.
That's gonna be a tough game. And the only reason why I think the Seahawks is going to be a tough game for Russell Wilson, you're going back home, man.
Yeah.
That your literal first game away from the team that drafted you and you spent 10 years with. That's your first game is against them.
Yeah.
That's tough. And it's not
you
just
force yourself out. You force yourself out.
Yep.
So you're going to hear a lot of boos.
And it's
Emotions
not even
going to run high.
And it's not even the things you did for the team. Look at the stuff that you did for the city, all the organizations, all the stuff helping out the community. That's got to be a very tough emotional game.
Yeah.
But in regards to the Chiefs, Kelsey led them in targets and Juju had one less target. Like that tells you that Mahomes even said it during the week. He's like, for fantasy football fans, I'm sorry, but I can't tell you who's going to be the leading wide receiver.
Yeah.
Because Mahomes basically told you, if you're open, you're getting the ball, so catch it. Yeah. That's how their offense is going to work. And when you have Andy Reid, who's a great offensive-minded coach, then you have possibly one of the best quarterbacks that we've probably seen since Aaron Rodgers came in with that mobility and to be able to throw like that.
Yeah, the freaking nature arm. Yeah.
Yeah,
he threw it to 10 different not all receivers, but 10 different. They look good. And I don't think cards are going to be that bad this year, but I mean, after that, it's kind of like
that. What concerns me about the Cardinals is their secondary. They don't have. They look. Byron Murphy is their best corner, and he's not even that good, to be honest.
Yeah, that was rough to watch, but the Chiefs did look good, man. Who do you got next?
So, I said it. I said it on my hot takes, ladies and gentlemen. I said Trey Lance was going to be a bust. Did anybody see that game against the Bears? Because I got to tell you something. I get it. They were playing in a Category 8 hurricane.
Yeah, that was rough conditions. That was some bad conditions.
They were literally swimming on the field.
That was
how bad it was. But that game, ladies and gentlemen, was probably not a. Since it's overreaction, I'll say it's concerning. Just due to the fact that so much is being expected of Trey Lance, and for what? To lose to the Bears?
Yeah.
Who do they have on offense that scares you?
Nobody.
Nobody.
They really don't. Yeah, they don't.
The only guy that could possibly, you're like, oof, you got to be careful, is Mooney.
Yeah.
But even then, Darnell Mooney didn't even lead them in any category. Darnell Mooney had 1 reception for 8 yards.
Yeah. And, the jump on that, too, I agree with you. This is concerning because San Francisco, they should have been great in that kind of weather. Their style of play isn't like throw the ball down the field. They're tough-nosed football. Great defense. The defense looked good, really good. But they should have been able to run the ball better, man. That's their style of play. So, I mean, I get the conditions was terrible. They were really, really bad. But the 49ers should be a tough-nosed football. But, Chicago, man, they pulled that one out, and it felt kind of like old-school Chicago, tough, punch you in the mouth football. So that was nice to see.
Yeah, and like you said, San Francisco's a running team. They run first pass. Their running backs had 15 rushes.
Yeah, that made no sense whatsoever.
Justin Fields by himself had 17.
Yeah,
he had more rushes than the actual running backs of the 49ers. And then Mitchell, that's one injury that they're concerned about. The starting running back for the 49ers, he's going to be out a few months.
Yeah, he's out 2 months, I heard.
2 months. So it's like you decided to let go of some running backs in the offseason because you had so much hope and praises for Elijah Mitchell. Now what? The next answer is Wilson? That's been on the team for the last 4 years and has done nothing?
I mean, if 49ers should have gave Garoppolo 1 more year on the starting job, I think.
I'm telling you, Jimmy G is starting Week 5, ladies and gentlemen.
I mean, I don't know if they'll do it just because of the confidence, but I would.
Yeah, that's.
I would in a heartbeat.
Yeah, so like I said, Trey Lance is going to be a bust. You guys heard it here first on Regular Guys Podcast. I called it.
You did call it. We'll see. It's early, though.
Again,
it's early, though.
It's Overreaction Monday. It's something that we're probably going to do. You're going to hear some crazy overreactions. We might even tell you not to overreact. Yes. That's going to be some stuff to come up. So another overreaction that you have, Sean. What are you gonna hit me with?
It's gonna be actually don't overreact, but
Okay.
keep an eye on kind of thing. The Colts.
Oh,
The Indianapolis Colts. Did anybody have the Texans? You know, what they were going to be one of the worst teams of football, right? This year.
that's what everybody was saying.
I think everybody said they're going to be one of the worst teams in football, and everybody had a lot of high hopes for the Colts. They tied. Now they did. They did. Yesterday was a bad day for field goal kickers. For kickers, I mean, so many missed kicks. Cincinnati game, the Colts game, the Giants versus who the Giants beat?
The Titans.
The Titans kicker missed the game winner. So the kickers yesterday, it was tough for them. They should have won the game. The Colts, the kicker missed it, but man, the Colts did not look too good. They kind of looked like a Carson Wentz Colts.
Yeah, I'm sorry. The Colts should not have been in that situation to rely on the kicker in the first place.
Yeah, no,
that's a game that you shouldn't be in that situation. Now I know what Matt would say if he was here because we talked about it a little bit. Matt Sting would say, "That's what the Colts do. You know, it's week one. They never win their week ones, and then next week they're playing Jacksonville. They never beat Jacksonville." Well, I'm sorry. You have Matt Ryan.
Yeah.
Okay, you're supposed to be better this year. You have an actual quarterback that you haven't had since Andrew Luck. Not saying Matt Ryan is Andrew Luck, but you haven't had an actual quarterback play that position for a while. So you finally get the guy and put it on a kicker?
Yeah, Matt Ryan definitely has to. Yeah, Matt Ryan has to really watch the ball too. I mean,
for sure.
He fumbled the ball 4 times. I mean, I think they only got one of them, and he threw one INT. But man, he's really got to protect that ball.
Yeah, and that O-line is not something that you should be scrambling with. That's a good O-line.
It's a solid O-line, man. But I don't think we should overreact. But it is something to keep an eye on because, I mean, I had the Colts running away with that division. I still do. But, let's keep an eye on that. I mean, if a couple bad weeks like that, it's going to be very concerning.
Yeah, so just to break up this real quick, I want to give a score update on the Seahawks-Broncos game as that's going on as we're talking. Your boy Geno Smith, he just went 4 for 4 for 71 yards and a touchdown. He drove down the field and just threw a nice pass to Will Dissly, the tight end, for a touchdown.
Yeah, I see that now, dude. Yeah.
Yeah, let's see how that game goes, but do not be shocked if Seattle wins the game. Pete Carroll is a great coach.
Yes. And he knows how to game. Yeah, he can game plan. I mean, who knows Russell Wilson better than him? Nobody.
Exactly. And everyone said, man, is it really Russell Wilson or was it the bad game plan? Because everybody knew what the Seahawks were going to do. Every year, you knew what was going to happen. They would start off hot, then they will die out, push for a playoff race, but the game plan was the same. Play action, throw deep to either Lockett or DK. That was literally the game plan.
Man, if Denver loses this game, man, that division, man, they didn't look too good this week. I mean, I guess I know you had the Chargers versus the Raiders, but I wasn't impressed with either team on that one.
Yeah, I know. We can even jump into that overreaction real quick about the Chargers and Raiders for that game. So here's my overreaction for that.
Okay, I want to hear this.
So it's going to tie in with a little bit of fantasy football reaction as well. Austin Ekeler. Yeah. I talk about Austin Ekeler because I've had him for the last 3 or 4 seasons in my keeper league. Right? Austin Ekeler is a guy that's durable. He's only missed – there was one season he missed quite a few games because of a hamstring. He tore his hamstring. Besides that, Austin Ekeler is one of the most reliable RB1s in fantasy football and in football. I think he's really I think he's underrated due to the fact he hasn't even gone to a Pro Bowl, which is crazy, especially after last year with the amount of touchdowns he had. Do not panic. Do not overreact if you have Austin Ekeler. Austin Ekeler was game planned out by the coach because Staley likes to get too cute. There are plenty of times where Ekeler should have been on the field, and I promise you now, Herbert is probably telling Staley that now. You took out my target when Keenan Allen went out. When Keenan Allen went down, Austin Ekeler should have never left the field only to rehydrate. Take 1 or 2 plays off, rehydrate, and get back out there. When you lose Keenan Allen, you need another passing option, and that is Austin Ekeler. Staley is coaching for his job, like I said.
And that was going to be not to cut you off, but that was going to be my big thing.
Yeah.
I think their biggest weakness on their team is their coaching.
Yeah.
And that first game of the season is very alarming to me because it's like, hey, I got all this talent and I'm still not learning my lesson.
Exactly.
You know? So it's a little concerning for me, but I wouldn't overreact either. But I mean, coaching wise, that's my biggest thing with them is coaching. Can he coach or not? And doing that is just like, come on now. You can get a 4-year-old to go out and coach better than that.
Exactly. Because, and believe me, it wasn't Justin Herbert. Justin Herbert was not bad.
No.
Justin Herbert had some incredible throws yesterday. And his stat line is 26 for 34, almost 300 yards, 3 touchdowns. He was and his yards per attempt, per throw, was 8.2 yards. He was basically throwing for almost a first down every time he threw the ball.
Yeah.
So it wasn't anything of ability from your quarterback. No. It's not, is Herbert the guy? Herbert's the guy.
Yeah.
Herbert has shown more that he's the guy. But now on to the Raiders part of it. Overreact, don't overreact. I think they forced the ball to Adams too much.
Yes. And I think they not the
yeah, you're good.
And I think the Rams do the same thing with Cup.
Yes.
Why are these teams forcing it? Like, they're forcing it too much.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because Devontae Adams had 17 targets, and the second best was Darren Waller with 6.
Yeah, no.
Darren Waller has way too much talent to only get 6 looks for the game.
I agree.
I think if you can get Darren Waller and Devontae Adams both 15 looks a game, then get Renfro to either 9 to 12, good looks, not what Dak Prescott was doing where he targeted Lamb 11 times, but like 10 of them were to Jerry Jones himself. So it was that
was bad.
So
I agree with that. They're forcing it. They're forcing it way too much to him as well. I agree 100%. And on that note, we were talking about Justin Herbert. He's not the reason they lost, but you know who's the reason their team lost?
Go ahead.
Joe Burrow.
Ooh.
4 interceptions and a fumble. He looked like he didn't know how to play football yesterday. It was bad. Dude, I watched a good half of that game. I'm not saying the hangover after the Super Bowl is a thing, but Burrow's line, he's holding the ball too long now. Now he got that whole line. That whole line's new. Good. I know it's gonna have to take time to get it all together, but he's got a really good line once they get it all together. He's holding that ball way too long. He got sacked 7 times yesterday. He's holding that ball, and before last year before, he was getting hit because his O-line was horrible. But he's got a brand new O-line, a couple Pro Bowl O-linemen.
Oh yeah.
And he was just holding the ball way too long. I mean, that was not a pretty showing.
It wasn't.
Was terrible. And the Steelers,
they're gonna make me eat my words. They're gonna make me eat my words.
I think Trubisky's gonna be their downfall. I think everybody's gonna agree with that. But I mean, Mike Tomlin before the game bought the whole team some black Air Force Ones because he was G'd up.
Yes.
And they went out and they beat up Burrow, man. Burrow did not look good. He did not look good. But he does have the Cowboys next week, so I mean, he always got a redemption there. So
I mean, if he struggled with TJ Watt, I can tell you one thing: he's going to struggle with Micah Parsons.
Yeah, I hope so.
About this game, if Trubisky's over here having a better quarterback rating than you, there's some issues. Mitch Trubisky, granted, like we said, the offense is kind of up and down, but he did what he's supposed to do. He's supposed to be a game manager, and he managed the game. That's what you brought him in for. Yep. Manage the game, teach Kenny Pickett what to do, what not to do.
Yeah,
that's what happened. And Najee Harris went down with the injury. I think they did the right thing, take him out. It's nothing serious. He's probably going to play Sunday, but that's what you do. When your star gets hurt, It's week 1. Pull him out. You sit
take him out.
That's
take him out. Sit him. I
no
agree.
questions out.
I agree 100% on that.
Now, you talked about Mike Tomlin. I think Mike Tomlin might be the best head coach that we've seen in a while. Think about this. He's never had a losing season. Mike Tomlin has never had a losing season.
Never have.
Granted, he had Ben Roethlisberger, but even when Big Ben, the last 3 or 4 years of Big Ben have not been good.
Yeah, his arm's been shot.
And still never had a losing record. Now, who do I think he's better than? Well, let's go back to South Beach. I think Mike Tomlin is better than Bill Belichick. Reason is, Belichick lost Brady and has not been the same. Tom Brady has gone off to win a Super Bowl. Tom Brady was 1 game away from the Super Bowl last year. Tom Brady is back again, age 45. He won last night. Bill Belichick is struggling with Mac Jones, who has the body of what's supposed to be a 45-year-old and has back spasms. I think Bill Belichick has lost the locker room. I think Bill Belichick, it's probably time for him to walk away or maybe go to a different team that has a better philosophy.
Yeah.
But I think Brady didn't leave with his mouth closed.
Nope.
I think Brady left that organization, said what he wanted to say, how he was treated and what he thought about Bill Belichick. And it's been put on notice. Tom Brady was always asking for a receiver.
Yep.
All he ever got was a few seasons of Randy Moss,
Yep.
Rob Gronkowski, and Julian Edelman.
Yep. He had Wes Welker. He had Wes Welker for a few years, but he never had Deion Branch. But none of these. I mean, he had Randy Moss, but I mean,
it was for a couple seasons.
Yeah, 2 years.
Yeah, and Gronk was great for like the first 5-6 years of his career, and then he was always missing time because his body broke down.
Yeah.
Because they abused him, and that's what happens. So I do think Mike Tomlin is one of the best head coaches. You could probably put him up there as the best head coach, just for what he's done. I know it's only been 2 Super Bowls, but
yeah, I'm gonna shock you here.
Go ahead.
This is gonna be very shocking. I agree with you. I think Mike Tomlin is the best head coach in football.
Let him hear it, Sean. Let him hear it.
I really do, man. Yeah. I think in 100 and everything you said about Bill Belichick, I've been saying that since 2 or 3 years before Brady left them. Brady's the reason why the Patriots were so great. Maybe not because he's the greatest thrower of the ball, but his leadership in that locker room, him getting everybody together, that's the reason why they won. Bill Belichick did great things, don't get me wrong.
Oh, for sure.
But I think the fame got to his head, and he thinks it's all him, and that's why he's trying to coach everything. Yes. You got to let your offensive coordinators do their thing. You got to let the defense – I mean, I know you're a defensive guru, but you got to let your other coaches do their jobs. He's becoming a Jerry Jones.
Mm-hmm.
You know, let the other guys do their job. Put your 2 cents in when they need to be, but let them do their job. And he's really getting exposed these last few years. He really is.
And against really Miami. His record against Miami owns Bill Belichick.
I think they won the last
recently.
4.
Yeah, they've won the last 4 games.
Yeah.
And I don't want to overreact, but for my Tua haters, you guys need to stop hating. I need to wake up a little bit.
Yeah.
Wake up a little bit. I will tell you this right now. Tua is not going to be a guy that throws the ball for 60 yards down the field. You want to know what other quarterback never had a strong arm? But man, he still threw for 5,000 yards a season. He was still leading his team to division titles, making the playoffs.
Who are you talking about?
Drew Brees.
Drew Brees.
Brees never had that cannon in an arm.
Strong cannon. No, he did not.
He did not. His was dink and dunk. Let me break down the zones. Yes. What did you see Tua do yesterday?
No, I actually watched a lot of that game. Actually, but that was probably the first 1 o'clock game I really, really focused on. Now, Tua definitely did a lot of things I liked. I think the thing that's going to come down with the Miami Dolphins and especially Tua is going to be his decision making. I liked a lot what I saw. I thought the offense could have did a little bit better, but Waddle and Hill, they both had awesome games. Their defense looked great. Yeah, but I think Tua's only one little critique is going to be his decision making on throwing the ball. But sure. Yeah, he has to be a Drew Brees type where it's not a bomb every time to throw it every once, two, 3 times a game, maybe a real big deep one. But yeah, I was impressed with them. Yeah. And Tua, I think he's going to be pretty good this year. Yeah. I'm not going to overreact and say he's going to be great this year. Exactly. But I think he's going to be a solid quarterback. Yeah. And I think especially enough to keep.
Yeah. And then I think when we said that the Dolphins were the number 2 team in the AFC East, I don't think that's overreacting. I don't think that's crazy. I think that's fair to say they're the number 2 team in that division. And if the AFC wasn't so stacked, I would say they'd probably make a wild card push.
They might. They still might.
They still might. With what we saw last week with the AFC West, who knows? Maybe we're overhyping the AFC West. Maybe.
We'll see.
We have no idea. So let's get a few more of these going and then see what else we have in store for the show. So any other ones you have for overreactions? Because I have a few.
I have one more.
All right.
I was gonna say, and I think this is something to be worried about. I think the Rams got something to worry about.
Ooh.
The Rams, and I get they played the Bills on an emotional night when they got their rings, but if you watch that game, Stafford he's forcing the ball to Kupp so much. Mm-hmm. They literally went out and got Allen Robinson and threw it to him 2 times the whole game. 2 times the whole entire game. That's your number 2 receiver, and you're only throwing it 2 times. They need to stop. I get it. Kupp is amazing. I love Kupp. I think he's just a great player. He's awesome. He does everything great. But you got Allen in there for a reason. To be a good number 2, you got to start giving them the ball. Another thing about that team, the offensive line
horrendous.
Looked horrible.
Yeah.
Whitworth retired, and they looked terrible. I would be on the phone right now begging for that guy to come back. And Stafford, I know he had surgery, and they say he's good. His arm didn't look as strong as it has in the past. That's something to keep an eye on. I'm a little worried about them. Josh Allen did pretty much anything he wanted with them. I know there was a couple turnovers, one real bad one on Allen, but a couple just bloopers that the Bills did to get the ball up, because that score could have been 50-something.
Oh, for sure.
It could have easily been a bigger blowout than it already was. And I'm a little worried about Jalen Ramsey. He's doing more talking than defending. He had a perfect, let me say it one more time, perfect passer rating against him. Completed 6 out of 7 receptions against them and just getting burnt left and right. He's doing a lot more talking than playing on the field. And that's not just been this past week. That's been the past couple games. He got burned in the Super Bowl. He's been getting burnt last 4 or 5 games, but he's still talking the same. You got to learn. You got to start backing it up again, Jalen. People are not scared of you anymore.
Oh, Josh Allen. There was a wild stat. I don't have it in front of me. I saw it on Instagram this week or today. Josh Allen is 4-0 the last 4 games against Jalen Ramsey.
Yeah,
that includes college. They didn't play that much. Yeah.
Okay.
And Jalen, like his numbers against Jalen Ramsey is almost like you or me are out there playing corner. Like he is absolutely not scared of Jalen Ramsey.
No, he's not.
Josh Allen is like,
I love Josh Allen.
They have no secondary basically to him. That's what Josh Allen sees. Josh Allen sees his wide receivers open every single play.
Yeah.
The nice thing
about Allen is he can escape too to make the play last longer. But I apologize. Go ahead.
No, and that's actually what I was going to lead into. The only thing that concerns me, Josh Allen ran the ball 10 times.
I didn't like
there was at least 5 carries where he didn't have to.
No, I agree.
And then there was the stiff arm was a beautiful highlight.
Yeah, but don't do it too much.
But that could have went from a highlight to you missing the stiff arm and that helmet hits the side of your knee, or the stiff arm goes wrong and you hurt your throwing arm.
Yep.
There's a lot of reasons why he should not be rushing the ball that much. It's great
could have had a Dak Prescott injury right there. You know, finger gets stuck in the face mask. You know, yeah, Josh Allen. It's funny you say that because at the beginning of the game, he was just throwing darts.
Yes.
And the announcers were like, man, he's looking like Tom Brady out here. And then he got back to his old ways with running the ball. I love when he runs the ball, but I mean, there was 5 or 6 times where it was like, dude,
it was just unnecessary.
Yeah, you're killing him. Don't worry about it.
Yeah. So a couple other ones that I want to bring up. I just have to. I have to. I have to.
We're going here.
I have to. The New York Football Giants. I have to give the full name. New York Football Giants. You see, you have to say the whole thing. Last year, this exact same scenario. The Giants get blown out 45, either 10 or 45-17. You'd be happy if they scored 17 last year.
Yeah.
I know the Giants do not have the best roster in the NFL. I understand Daniel Jones is not a good quarterback. He's not even a solid quarterback. I have stated myself as a fan, I do not want Daniel Jones being the quarterback. I want it to be Tyrod Taylor. I've said that. This is a product of good coaching, and that's it. This right here is Brian Daboll's win. It's not a New York Giants win. It is a Brian Daboll's win. Brian Daboll literally did everything he could to win that game like if it was a Super Bowl. He was actually doing everything he could. Any other coach that the Giants have had in the past, like I said, Giants would have been blown out 45-10, most likely in that game.
And Saquon Barkley.
Ooh, your boy's back. He is back. What did I say?
If he's running like that, they might be able to do some damage in the NFC East. I don't think that's going to be a weekly occurrence personally, but Barkley looked like a stud, man. Barkley is a stud. His quarterback and offensive line kind of been holding him back. I feel, a couple injuries, but that's his potential there. That's when he came out of Penn State, right?
Yep, Penn State.
He came out of Penn State. That's the Barkley what everybody expected. He looked great, man. He really did, and that was a good win. I mean, Tennessee. I get they're not going to be, I think they lost a lot on offense, not too much on defense, but that's a decent win for them. You got to be happy to pull that one out.
Yeah, with Barkley, it's something that I've been telling anybody that asks me questions, because I'm a Giants fan, so they want to know. I have friends that were drafting early in fantasy drafts. They were asking me, would you take Saquon Barkley in the first round? And I would tell everybody yes.
Yeah.
The reason is Saquon Barkley, this is the first time in 2 seasons where he's had OTAs, training camp, and a preseason.
Yeah.
And he did all of it healthy.
Yeah.
This is the first season where he's had an O-line this good. Even his rookie year, that O-line did not touch this O-line.
No.
And this O-line is not good.
Yeah.
But this O-line is young. Andrew Thomas is looking like a way better pick than Mekhi Becton. Mekhi Becton has played probably, 10 games in the NFL. Andrew Thomas was a revolving door the first couple years in the NFL, and now he's a lot better. Evan Neal is a refrigerator playing right tackle. That guy's not going to be. He's huge.
He's a big boy, man. I wouldn't want to walk in a dark alley with that guy.
No. So am I saying that the Giants are going to go undefeated and win the Super Bowl? Absolutely not.
It's an exciting win for you guys, though. I'm a Giants hater. Everybody knows this, but I would definitely be pleased with that win, and definitely the coaching. Like you said, the coaching won that game, and Barkley, man, that was great. Daniel Jones still holds him back, man. I'm like, damn, come on, man.
And I loved Brian Daboll yelling at Daniel Jones. That's what you have to do. I love that.
People were tough love, man. Some tough love.
People were texting me like, "Oh my God, he yelled at Daniel Jones." I'm like, and. I'm happy he finally got yelled at. Daniel Jones is.
He should have took his belt off and spanked him. Honestly, come on now.
For sure. And then I think we can go ahead and end it with something kind of crazy.
Okay, let me hear this.
Is this a Carson Wentz revival? Are we going to get MVP Carson Wentz? Is this what's happening in Washington?
Overreaction.
That 100% is your Overreaction Monday, ladies and gentlemen. That is what we have for you today on this episode of Regular Guys Podcast for our main topic. Now we're going to go ahead and so let's see. Oh, let's get you a quick update on the game right now. So Broncos only scored a field goal. It's the end of the first quarter. Geno Smith tried running it on a fourth down, and he didn't convert on that.
They should have just kicked the field goal, but
that's what I would have. You're trying to show Russell Wilson something. I get that. Yeah. I like that.
Yeah, I like it too, though.
All right, so let's go ahead and jump into the hype section, Sean. Let us know what you're hyped for.
I'm not hyped about a lot, man.
Okay.
This was a rough weekend for me. You know, the Florida Gators were terrible. Trash.
Yes.
Now, Maddie will disagree with me. He'll be like, it's a learning curve. I get it. But in college football, it's win now, not win later. For me. Richardson looked awful. My Dallas Cowboys are done. They're done. What do I have to look forward to? I don't know, man. Next year, hopefully. I don't know, dude. I don't know.
That's it. You're done.
I'm done, man. That's what I'm hyped for. To go home. I mean, yeah, I'm just gonna go lay down and cry. That's what I'm hyped for.
And as a Giants fan, I'm so happy to hear that.
Okay,
I'm so happy to hear that a Dallas Cowboy fan is sad. That's what you crave. That's what you want. You just we them boys. Oh, I'm so done with that.
I never even liked that. Who the heck goes around saying we them boys? If you say we them boys, I don't even want to be around you. And I'm a Cowboy fan.
And then what I'm hyped for, I'm gonna be honest with you. When I saw that we had 1,000 views on that one reel, and then that we got 50 subs. I know to a lot of people, you say 50 subs, they say, who cares? It's 50. Yeah. It's just 50 people. Maybe not even all 50 are going to watch.
Yeah.
But it's just the amount of work that we're putting into this. PJ and Matt took over the weekend with those reels. They killed it, man. Good. Yeah.
Hey, they did it, man. They did great. We got to give them a round of applause on that one. We really appreciate both. I mean, they both kill it, man. Matt's been working real hard.
Heck yeah.
Excited to have him back next week. He needs some rest, but he'll be back better than ever next week. Him and PJ killed it. We appreciate you guys, man. Really do.
Yeah, it was something kind of not emotional because you don't want to go that far, but it was just like, man, we're working hard and it's paying off. You can see it.
Yeah.
And I was out on vacation this whole weekend. I really couldn't do much. Sean was busy, but Matt and PJ stepped up and
they did. They killed it.
We got 1,000 views, man. That's pretty crazy. So now it's up to you guys, the regulars. I need you guys. We need you guys.
We do. Please, come on, helping hand.
Yeah.
It's a helping hand. That's all we want.
The 5 seconds you take to open your phone and check Instagram or to check Facebook or to check Twitter.
Yes.
Give me 2.5 of those seconds and just hit subscribe. That's it.
Please.
Hit subscribe. And then when you have your other break or whenever you're listening to us, just take another 5 seconds and share it. That's it. Share it to somebody else, then have them share it. And then that's how we grow. You take 10 seconds out of your day, and that's how we grow the page. That's all we're asking for you guys.
Now we sound like beggars.
Yeah, but I have to. I have to. No, but man, you guys are killing it. We're trying to do everything we can. We've been listening to your suggestions. I'm trying to get some better lighting. I've had some friends tell me that my lighting is not the best.
You look whiter. You look whiter than me, dude, and I am pale.
Well, I have to tell you why.
Casper the friendly ghost over here.
I took the ring light and I put it right in front of the monitor. Last week I had it like that, but since I had my glasses on, you guys are getting a behind the scenes, right? I had my glasses on. I had the bad glare. I was like, this looks horrendous. And you also heard the mic shaking last week. That's because I was trying to move this and the mic fell. It was a whole thing. So what I do, I put contacts in. I went ahead, I got the ring light here just so I can look like Casper the Ghost for you guys, right?
Beautiful, beautiful.
That's what I wanted to do for the regulars, all right? But yeah, man, we're super happy with everything that's happening. Can't wait for you guys to see this episode. Hope you guys love and enjoy it.
Thank you, guys.
As far as everything else goes, this is Jake signing off for the regular guys. Peace.
You are now listening to Regular Guys Podcast.